Hello, my loves. I am feeling like a monster today, a little monster. So I wanted to rank Lady Gaga's iconic EP, The Fame Monster. This was such a moment when it came out. I feel like this was Lady Gaga at the absolute peak of her exposure and saturation in the media. Like, when this EP came out, you could not go online or watch the TV without seeing Lady Gaga. She was absolutely unavoidable during this time, and she was already huge from the Fame, but I feel like the Fame Monster just brought her over the top. Like, this was absolutely unavoidable Gaga time, and I just love it so much. This is such a classic. So I'm gonna be ranking the 8 songs from the CP. I was thinking of doing the Fame and the Fame Monster together, but that would just take way too long. Like, that would be what, like 20 something songs to rank. I do not have the time. That would be a good like 2 hour video. I just cannot do it. So I'm just gonna be ranking the Fame Monster songs from my least personal favorites to my personal favorites. So starting at number 8, I have Teeth. All right, let me just get this straight. I like Teeth. Teeth is a really good song, and it has grown on me a lot over the years. I will say it has always been my least favorite. Like, I never 1000% saw it for Teeth, but the more that I've listened to it, and like in recent years, it definitely has grown on me. But I just always didn't love it because the rest of the album is so like electronic and dancey and like heavy and synthy. And then you get to this one, which is a bit of a different style. It's a little bit more like a dumping kind of like, I don't want to say country song, but like it sounds kind of like country influenced. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just don't necessarily like that style personally as much as the electro pop that the rest of the album is. And that's why it's always been my least favorite. I do think it's very like sexy and it's very provocative, and I love that about this era of Lady Gaga. Like, she was just not afraid to be really boundary pushing and provocative, and I love that. This song specifically, she always kind of sounded like Christina Aguilera to me. And I know like the whole Lady Gaga Christina Aguilera comparison is tired. I know, I get it. But like, I actually do think in this song she kind of has like the little Christina Aguilera like growly vocal performance, if that makes any sense. I always just kind of heard that a little bit. And me comparing anyone to Christina is a very, very high compliment, so I don't mean that in a bad way. Teeth is a good song, but like I said, I just don't necessarily love it quite as much as the other ones, just because it is in a different kind of sonic lane than the rest of the album. And I do think it's interesting as a closer. Like, I do actually think it makes sense because it is different. Like, it just kind of comes out of nowhere. It's a bit of a curveball, and I feel like that was actually a smart move on Gaga's part. Like, this is kind of an uncanny way to finish off the album, and I like that. I like how it is very different, and it kind of comes out of nowhere, and that definitely makes it memorable. Is it my favorite song? Of course not, but it is definitely a good one. Also, ironically, I just thought about this, but I'm going to the dentist right after I record this, so maybe they'll play Teeth while I'm in there. That would be very fitting. Anyways, number 7 is Speechless. This is, okay, this is a really hard album to rank, alright? Literally from 7 to 1, like, it's so difficult because every single song is so strong. And like, Speechless being at 7, like, feels wrong to me. Like, I almost want to switch it with what's at number 6, but I really like number 6, so I don't know. Speechless, it has to go somewhere. It has to go here. I'm sorry. Speechless is so good. This is like Gaga's best power ballad, in my opinion. This is just such a powerful song, and I'm pretty sure that it was about her father and how he wouldn't get surgery or something like that. It's like a personal song to Gaga, and you could really hear it. Like, she is giving you theatrics. She is giving you those soaring vocals. Her voice is so strong in the song, and you really hear like so much raw emotion coming out of her. And I love Speechless for that reason. Like, I have cried to the song so much. Like, it's not even like maybe necessarily the saddest song, but I just feel her conviction in it. That's the thing. Like, I feel the passion in Speechless, and that is why it is just such a good song. And I am kind of a hypocrite because this one isn't necessarily like like I was saying about Teeth, that one isn't necessarily like a very synthy electro-pop song, and this one isn't either, but I just like this one better because it just makes me feel. Like, it really just makes me feel. Speechless is just such a gorgeous, gorgeous ballad, and like I said, I think her best vocals on this EP are in this song. She just sounds like a monster. Like, she literally sounds like a vocal monster. Like, the powerhouse Gaga comes out, and I just love it so much. It's also really catchy. Like, I do think that this is a very catchy song. Like, the chorus of her just going like, "I'll never talk again, oh boy, you left me speechless." It's a really good hook, but it's also really sad. Like, I have cried to the chorus specifically a lot because it just is like sad. I don't know. Like, her saying like, "I'll never love again." It's just very heartbreaking, and she just sounds so good during it. I also love the line, "You popped my heart seams, all my bubble dreams." Like, that line is like so like funny, but sad also. Like, that's the thing. Like, it's very goofy and very like theatrical and over the top, but it is kind of like sad in the context. But then you think about it and it's just like, did she just say bubble dreams? Like, what does that even mean? Who knows, but who cares? It's a really good like visual line. I love a good visual kind of line that makes you like see an image in your head. But Speechless, this song is absolutely incredible. I am sad that it's at 7, but like it has to be somewhere. Like, the other songs just are that good. Like, when I say this album is like literally too good, it's actually like the quality of every song is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Speechless being at number 7 when on any other album it would like easily be a number 1. Craziness. But anyways, number 6 is Ali Alejandro. This song is so good. This song was such a moment. Oh my god, when the video came out, literally everybody at school was watching it. Nobody knew what the hell to make of it, and everyone was singing this song. This song is just like a pop classic. Like, this gives me like early Madonna kind of vibes. Like, it just does feel like a very throwbacky, classic kind of pop song. I just feel like this one has always existed. Like, it feels like a standard. I literally cannot imagine a world without this song in it. I just think that it is so, like, catchy. Like, it's such an earworm. That's the thing. Like, it's one of those songs that's just designed to stick in your head. Like, you will never, ever get the hook out of your head because it is so, like, perfectly crafted, I feel. Like, I feel like this was laboratory made to be, like, a standard pop song that everybody will know. Like, once you hear, like, don't call my name, Alejandro, it's so simple, but it works so effectively. And I also just love the drama of the song. Like, this song is like telling a story. It's theatrical. It's everything that's great about Lady Gaga. Like, honestly, during this era especially, I just feel like this really sums up what made her so unique at the time. Like, no one was doing a song like this. No one had like the spoken word like beginnings and like this huge theatricality and giant scope and grandeur that Alejandro had, or the rest of her songs had. Like, this song specifically is like a really dramatic telenovela put into song form, and that is just like really cool. I just think that it's so cool how she brought so much like drama and stakes to a pop song. I feel like Gaga was the one that was doing that. Like, she was the one that was making pop music like high stakes again, and I just appreciate it for that reason. Hot Like Mexico, Rejoice, that is like the best line in the entire song, so good. Anyways, number 5 is Telephone, Call All You Want But There Is No One Home. This song is such a banger. Like, this is a stomper. I know that Lady Gaga herself like has bad memories of it because I think she said like she was overworked during this time, and like she looks back at the video and like the song as being kind of like a dark time in her life. I think I remember reading that somewhere. And that's like really sad because I feel like this is like a very standard Lady Gaga song. Also, the amount of like standard Lady Gaga songs that came from this EP is like crazy. Like, literally all the singles from this EP are like standards. I mean, insanity. But Telephone, I just feel like this one is another classic. Like, this is one of the defining songs of 2010. I'm pretty sure it was 2010 that it came out, I think. But for her to team up with Beyonce, who during this era was, like during her Sasha Fierce era, which was absolutely massive, she was everywhere. this was Beyonce at like one of the peaks of her power. And I say peaks because I feel like Beyonce has had multiple peaks, but like this was like a really big like moment during her career. And for them two to get together, these two powerhouses, I mean, I love a collab in music. I love a giant Queen of Pop collaboration, like When You Believe by Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston, a classic. That one is so good. Or like Me Against the Music with Britney and Madonna. Like moments like that just feel like this huge meeting of the minds. And that is what Telephone is. I feel like no one will ever forget this moment in time because this is two icons, two legends performing together. And the song itself is great. Like the fact that the song is just so catchy and like clubby and insanely fun, I just feel like it's made it live on. Like I hear the song regularly at like clubs or like even when I just like go out or on the radio or something. This one is still one that has stuck in people's minds. And I think that is, again, due to the brilliance of the hook. You can call all you want, but there's no one home and you're not going to reach my telephone because I'm up in the club and I'm sipping that bub and you're not going to reach my telephone. It's so catchy. It's so good. And it's so, like, dumb, too. And, like, I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, it's a dumb, fun hook. And I feel like Gaga understands that pop music is mindless, but there is an art to it. Like, there's an art to the mindlessness. And Telephone really exemplifies that. And I just love it so much. Beyonce's part is so good. She comes in like so hard and it's so like whenever Beyonce's part comes in, like I just act so reckless. Like I just get so like foolish for no reason and it just like hypes me up. Like the song is just such a good hype up song. And I also just love what it's about. Like don't call me, like I'm out partying. Like I love that. I am like totally the person that puts their phone on do not disturb at like 9 o'clock at night. I'm just like, no one bother me. I don't feel like talking. I don't feel like calling, especially not calling. I hate when people call me. Like, do not call me. Like, this could have been done through a text. This could have been an email. Like, I do not want to hear your voice. I hate talking on the phone. So like this song I just relate to on a spiritual level. Like, stop calling. I do not want to talk anymore. Okay, I am out. I am with the girls, I am having a good time, and I do not want your goddamn phone call, okay? Like, stay away from me. I love that so much. Telephone is such a great song. Number 4 is Dance in the Dark. This is, like, so dangerous territory. Like, from 4 to 1, I know I said, like, from 7 to 1 is so good, but, like, 4 to 1 are, like, my favorite Gaga songs, like, ever. Like, I'm pretty sure all 4 of, like, the following songs are in my top 10 Lady Gaga songs of all time because they are just that masterful. Dance in the Dark, this song is a drama. This is theatrics. This is Lady Gaga incarnate. Like if I had to sum up what makes early Gaga so special, I feel like this is the song because this is such a great blend of the dancey like electropop like sound that she really popularized and brought back to the mainstream, but it's also a mix of the darkness and a lot of the heavier themes that she explored. Like, it's great because you could dance to the song, but there's also a really deep meaning behind it. I think she said that the song was about like body insecurity. Like she's saying like baby loves to dance in the dark. Like this girl is very like ashamed of how her body looks and that's why she doesn't want her man to like see her fully and she prefers to be in the dark. And that is like a really sad like meaning behind it and like you could sense it. You can really like hear Gaga's like sympathy towards people who have like body image issues, and I think that makes the song like so great and so meaningful. And like I said, it's one that you could very easily dance to because it is this like really hard like Europop like thumping like track, but it's also really sad because she's discussing like the lengths that people will go to change their appearance and change their body. And like she's saying in the bridge, she's listing famous people who have passed away, and I always took that as a commentary on like the lengths that people will go to make themselves appear beautiful, but on the inside they are struggling and they have so much darkness in their lives that you wouldn't know. And that is just like so like brilliant. Like this is just such a layered song. There's so much to read into about it. And like, I'm not the pop music professor over here, like, I'm not the music theory person, so, like, someone smarter than me would have to, like, do a whole thesis on this, but I feel like this is definitely just one that I appreciate because it does have, like, such a deep meaning behind it. If I was still in school, if I was taking a pop culture class, I would definitely write a paper on Dance in the Dark. Like, this is definitely one that should be studied. It is just such a brilliant song. And of course, it is a banger. I mean, such a bop. Like, I have danced in the dark to Dance in the Dark. It is so good. Number 3 is So Happy I Could Die. I could die listening to the song. It is that immaculate. This song is like Euro pop excellence. I feel like it is so, like, immaculate. It's so euphoric sounding. It's so blissful. But again, beneath that, there is this layer of sadness. I think she said this one was about, like, drinking. Like, I think that this was supposed to be about, like, her relationship with alcohol. And like she's saying in the song, happy in the club with a bottle of red wine, stars in our eyes because we're having a good time. I think it's about, like, her using alcohol as an escape and a temporary way to settle her issues and her mental, like, instability, but also recognizing that that in and of itself is a problem. And that makes the song, like, so dark, but at the same time, it's also so, like, twinkly sounding and, like, euphoric and blissful. And I just love songs that have that kind of dichotomy. And that is why So Happy I Could Die is just so brilliant. I also think that it's supposed to be about, like, masturbation. I'm pretty sure. I mean, she literally says, I touch myself. So, I mean, yeah, I feel like that could also definitely be the interpretation. And I think that it's smart that it can be about both. Like, I think that a song that can have multiple meanings and be interpreted in a lot of different ways, like, that is hard to pull off, but this one does it, and it's so smart for that reason. I feel like when you read into it as being about pleasuring yourself, it's her trying to say, like, I am in love with myself, and this is my way of retaining control, if that makes any sense. I feel like that's kind of what she was going for, or at least that's how I read into it. Like, I think that this song is her trying to grasp at control and wanting to have control over her life, and she uses pleasuring herself as a way to have that, but at the same time, she is using alcohol as an escape, which makes you obviously lose control. And I think that that is just so, like, deep. Like, that is some deep stuff, man. Like, that is just very, very smart because you have these two things that are opposites of each other, and she's discussing them at the same time in this song that's about trying to grasp at control of your life. But obviously she's facing hurdles with that because of her struggles with addiction. That is just so, so brilliant. The song is just brilliant. And also, just, like, sonically, I mean, this song is so, like, overbearingly produced, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, it's just a very, like, busy, noisy, like, song, and I think that it replicates the feeling of being in a club and kind of, like, losing yourself to the music. Like, that's what it always sounded like to me. It sounds like the moment where you just kind of, like, blank out and you're, like, staring, and all that you could hear is the music, and it's just, like, darkness all around you, and you're just kind of, like, losing yourself. That is what it sounds like to me, and that just makes it this, like, mystifying song. Like, this really is, like, a strangely ethereal song, but at the same time, it's also extremely sad and dark, and that is just what is so great about it. Like, I just love a really dark synth pop song like this, and So Happy I Could Die, I feel like, is a standard of that genre. Like, you have this song, you have Blackout by Britney, and you have, like, all these songs that are about exploring really dark topics, but using this really, like, glitzy sort of synth pop production to mask up the sadness. I think that is just so, so cool. So Happy I Could Die is one of Gaga's best. Number 2 is Monster. This one and So Happy I Could Die are tied to me. Like, I just so happen to like Monster better at the moment, but honestly, I feel like on most days, I would put So Happy I Could Die above it. It just happens that, like, I'm feeling Monster a little bit more right now, but, like, they're tied. They literally are tied. Monster and So Happy I Could Die are, like, basically the same to me. I think I'm feeling Monster a little bit more right now because it's almost October and spooky season is almost here. So I just love the song for that reason. Like, this is such a Halloween playlist staple for me. It should be a staple on everyone's October playlist. I mean, seriously. Monster is just such a great, again, Europop inspired dance track. And I think that this one was supposed to be about her fear of, like, relationships, like, because, like, the song's about her being afraid of this man who is a monster to her. Like, she's in this, like, seemingly abusive relationship, and she keeps going back to him, and she's just not trusting in herself to be in a stable relationship. And once again, this is just a great exploration of a dark theme underneath a synthy, heavy, electronically produced dance track. I just love it for that reason. And I think the reason that I really feel this one is because I just love horror themed stuff. Like, I'm such a horror movie stan. I love anything spooky, anything scary, and Monster is just a really great spooky song. I just really love it. I wish that we had gotten a video for it. I really think that a Lady Gaga Monster video, visual, whatever, would be so cool. Like, I want gore, I want blood, especially when she's like, we French kissed on the subway train. He tore my clothes right off, he ate my heart, and then he ate my brain. What I always pictured for that part was they're literally like on the subway and they're like making out, but then as they're making out, he's like slowly transforming into like a werewolf or something. Like, that's what I picture for that part. And then like the ending of the video would be him just like going on a rampage on the subway. I don't know. I've given way too much thought to this. Like, I just really want a video for Monster. I feel like that would be so cool. I just love a horror themed music video. But Monster, I mean, the song is great. Like, if you haven't listened to it in a while, I mean, get back into it. Like, it is spooky season. It is almost time for Halloween. You need to be listening to this. You need to be listening to Disturbia. And you need to be listening to Sweet Dreams by Beyonce. That is all that I'm saying. This is a Halloween classic. Number 1, speaking of kind of Halloween classics, is Bad Romance. I feel like this one could also be a Halloween song. This one is, like, kind of eerie and spooky. Bad Romance, I mean, I have no original opinions. Like, I'm sorry. I feel like everyone would put this at number 1, but how could you not? Like, I just think that this is the perfect pop song. Like, and I know I've said that about, like, literally every single song, but it bears repeating. Like, she was really, like, on one when she was making this album, because every single song is, like, so flawless, but this one just is so elevated. Like, this is on a different level. Everything from the rah-rahs to that explosive chorus to her extremely, like, dramatic vocals and her, like, powerful vocal delivery, especially, like, near the end where she's like, want your bad romance. Like, every single part of this song is just so flawlessly done. Like, this is just such a perfectly executed song, but in a way that no one had ever seen before. Like, I just feel like there wasn't a song like Bad Romance before. This took, like, elements from a lot of different genres and just blended it all together to be this insane, like, moment. I just feel like she drew from, like, different types of dance music, and she incorporated that into the type of music that was popular at the time, and incorporated some, again, like, horror sort of theming to it. Like, I think the song is, like, spooky sounding. It just sounds like a haunted house. Like, I don't know. I just, like, picture hearing this on, like, the Haunted Mansion or something. Like, it has that kind of, like, spooky kind of sound to it. And she even references, like, Alfred Hitchcock movies like Psycho and Vertigo. And can I just say, when I was a child, like, I was really big into movies, and Alfred Hitchcock was my favorite director. So when she referenced Psycho and Vertigo, which are 2 of his movies, I literally, like, freaked out. I was like, I never expected this intersection. Like, I never expected a pop star to reference Alfred Hitchcock. Like, that was, like, so, like, foreign to me. I was like, wow, my worlds are colliding right now. And it, like, still, like, gives me goosebumps. I'm just like, oh my god, like, the taste of this woman to reference to, like, the best movies. The girl is cultured. The girl is cultured. Bad Romance is just literally flawless. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, what do we want to say? Like, it's 2023. We get it. Like, Bad Romance is still a banger. Like, it still goes off. It's just so, like, grand. And it's also just, like, fun to sing along with. This is, like, a perfect example of, again, how Gaga understands, like, pop music needs to sound like fun, dumb, and mindless, but there could be layers beneath that. Like underneath this dumping Euro club type of song, there is this story that she's telling about a toxic relationship, and it just brings it all together. Like this song just sums up the Fame monster. She puts on this veneer of like a fun night at the club, but underneath that there is a really, really dark tale being told. And Bad Romance is just such a great way to do that. Like the fact that this was such a huge song, but it is so like kind of disturbing lyrically, and the video, I mean the video is like really creepy. It's just like so good. Like this was the moment. When this came out, I remember literally every little child was shook. Like we did not know what to think about this. Like I remember just like going to school and kids would be like, did you see the Lady Gaga video? And I was like, did I see the Lady Gaga? Of course I saw the Lady Gaga video. And like no one knew like what was this about. Like there were so many theories and like we just couldn't piece it together. Like our dumb little minds just could not get our minds around what was happening. And to this day, like I still think that the video is like up for interpretation. Like I think there is definitely like a story that she's telling and there was an intentional like story behind it, but I still think that you can interpret it in different ways because it's a piece of art. I mean, it is art pop. It literally is art pop, but that is why I love Bad Romance so much. Like I said, it's 2023. We get it. It's Bad Romance. We all know. But that is my ranking of the Fame Monster. The greatest EP of all time. I feel very comfortable saying that. Like, what would compete with this? Like, what other 8-song EPs are this good? What other 8-song EPs have 3 gargantuan singles that are classics that are still known to this day? Like, name me one. Like, name me one. Like, genuinely, I can't even think of one. This is just such a classic. Like I know I've said it like 10,000 times, but it really bears repeating. It's so good. Like I said, I was gonna rank this with The Fame because it was like wasn't it released with The Fame? Like this was marketed as like a double album or something. I don't know. To me, like they have always been so separate. Like I don't think The Fame and The Fame Monster are even somewhat like each other. Or well, I should say The Fame explores the fun, like let loose, sillier side of Fame, and it sort of puts on a show of Gaga being like, oh my god, I'm famous, isn't this fun? But the Fame Monster is exploring like the deeper, like more insecure and scarier sides of being famous. So they're flip sides of the same coin, but I still just see them as like entirely separate projects. Like it's the yin to the Fame Monster's yang, basically. Like I think they're complementary of each other, but they are like totally separate. I never really thought that it made sense to listen to The Fame and The Fame Monster like one after another because it just isn't thematically like the same. To this day, I don't know which one I like better. Like The Fame obviously has more songs on it, and I probably like have listened to it more just naturally because it is like longer and there's more songs. But I feel like the overall quality of The Fame Monster is better. Like I feel like the average song on The Fame Monster is like a 9.5, and the average song on The Fame is like a strong like 8.8. Like I don't know, like the average song on The Fame I feel like would be a strong B+, like a strong B+, B+, A- territory, but The Fame Monster is like an A+ project throughout, and that is why I am still bumping it to this day. Thank you guys so much for listening. Let me know what your guys' favorites are from this immaculate EP, and I will see you next time.